My people, the time for change is now. We will not be silenced. Our voices will be heard.
Hello, dear friends. Imagine this. When life returns to rusted train tracks, what kind of scene does it create? Viewers, think about this. What if someone told you that people are now living inside old, abandoned trains? No hotels, no buildings, just rusty train coaches. But inside, you'd find everything. Beds, kitchens, even lights. This isn't a movie. It's reality. In Burkina Faso, where President Ibrahim Traoré launched an idea that stunned the entire world. The same trains that once carried memories of the past have now become doors to a new life for thousands of poor families. Once upon a time, Burkina Faso's railway stations were full of life. The sound of whistles, passengers calling out, children laughing. But as time passed, the railway system collapsed. The tracks rusted. The trains stood abandoned. Where once there was hope for travel, silence took over. Amid this silence lived thousands of people with no homes, no roofs. They stood under the sun, drenched in the rain, dreaming of just one thing: if only we had a home. That's when a young president, Ibrahim Traoré, said, "We're not here to sell new dreams. We're here to give new life to old ones." That single thought sparked a movement that would soon surprise the whole world. The government decided that the trains which could no longer run would be turned into homes. Old coaches were cleaned and repainted. Wooden floors were installed. Small beds, kitchens, and play areas for children were built. Where tickets were once checked, a mother now tells stories to her kids. This wasn't just a project. It was a journey of hope, starting from the tracks and reaching straight into the hearts of the people. At first, everyone thought it was madness. Homes made from trains? Impossible. Some mocked it, others called it a political gimmick. But Traoré didn't give up. He personally visited the rusted tracks, stepped inside the decaying coaches, and said, "This isn't scrap metal. This is our people's future." The first step was cleaning and repairing. Engineers dismantled the old coaches. Where broken seats once lay, new wooden panels were installed. Where burned-out bulbs hung, new lights shined again. Each coach was turned into a complete home, with a roof, windows, and proper ventilation. The first 10 were ready. When the first families moved in, the happiness on their faces said it all. An elderly woman said, "I never imagined in my life that one day a train would become my home." Gradually, the project grew. Some train coaches became family homes, some school classrooms, and others small medical units. The journey wasn't easy. International agencies called it unrealistic and impractical. Funds were short, resources were limited. But Traoré said, "If your intention is pure, even rust can turn to gold." And that's exactly what happened. The movement spread across the nation. Where there were once empty tracks, life returned to the rails. Today, if you visit any railway station in Burkina Faso, you won't see broken trains. You'll see colors of life. Where dust once rose, children now ride bicycles. Mothers rock their babies to sleep under the evening sky. It's hard to believe that this was once the same place where people slept on the ground and cried from hunger. Now they have roofs, homes, and dignity. A little boy looks at the camera and says with pride, "This is my home, my train home." And on his face, you see a joy you won't find even in a palace. These aren't just homes. They are symbols of rebirth. Each train coach tells a story of endurance, a story of hope. When the world saw these scenes, it was left speechless. International media called it Africa's most human project. Some countries even named Ibrahim Traoré a modern-day visionary. But the most touching moment came when citizens themselves placed signs outside their train homes saying, "This house wasn't built by the government, it was built by our hope." Many poor nations are now adopting the same model, realizing that real progress doesn't come from wealth, it comes from the honesty of intention. This project wasn't a slogan, it was a lesson. If you truly want to change something, all you need is intent. When the sun sets over Burkina Faso, the light reflects off the tracks, and from the train windows, you see peaceful faces whispering one truth: we are no longer homeless. These are people who once had nothing, but today they have a roof, an identity, and above all, a new belief. For Ibrahim Traoré, this wasn't just a project, it was a revolution of thought. He proved to the world that governments don't have to throw away the old. They can breathe life back into it. No one ever imagined that abandoned trains could become stations of hope. But that's what real leadership does. It sees light where everyone else sees darkness. Today, the people of Burkina Faso are not just living in homes. They are living as a symbol of humanity. They've shown that progress isn't measured by wealth or power, but by compassion and sincerity. On the door of one train home, someone wrote, "This house wasn't built from iron, it was built from faith." That single sentence tells the story of a nation, because once a people learn to live with belief, no power on earth can keep them poor. This isn't just Burkina Faso's story, it's the story of every nation that dares to believe that progress begins the moment people stop saying it's impossible. Once, these trains were made for travel. Today, they carry lives. And Ibrahim Traoré has shown that real progress isn't what you build in cities, but what you awaken in hearts. Burkina Faso has taught the world a new lesson. If the intention is true, even rusted iron can become the crown of humanity. And that's why today, the world is asking, if Burkina Faso can do it, why can't we? Because this isn't just the story of trains, it's the story of faith that refused to die and won. If you believe this is what true humanity looks like this video, share it with others, because maybe, just maybe, someone's faith might return because of a single story. The question isn't what Ibrahim did. The question is, what will we do?